on Mobile Rolling, this episode, it will be a great pleasure of mine to be talking to someone who has been named as decorated, legend, everything, hero, my childhood hero, a fantastic man. It'll be my pleasure to be talking to Lindsay Head. Welcome to Mobile Rolling, Lindsay. Lovely to have you as part of our show.
Glad to be on, Gary.
Right, we'll start with, everybody knows about your football career and then your cricket and the horses, and we'll get to them later, but just tell us where you were born, early days of schooling, and then what sort of things you did outside of football, jobs and horses and whatever. So where were you born? You were born in 1935?
35 at the Memorial Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Our family home was in Theberton, a couple of long drop kicks from the Theby Oval. I went to, firstly, when I was about 4 years old, Morris Brothers was on the corner of Neville Road and George Street, and a mate of mine was a Catholic boy, and he was the same age, and he went to the school at 4 years of age. And they said I could go with him at 4 years of age. So I went to the Catholic school till I was 5, and then I went to Theby Primary, and I always had to walk back past the Morris Brothers school to get home, because that was on the direct path to where we lived. And they were all there wanting to belt me up, all the good Catholic boys. And anyway,
you deserted them.
We had an Alsatian dog called Tarzan. Anyway, the family used to send him down to the corner every day, and I used to walk home with Tarzan, and they'd let you alone. No one ever came near me. So that's where I started. I then started.
So when you were young, with football, did you have any brothers and sisters? Or?
No, I was an only child. I was only spoilt child, and I.
So how did you go? Did your parents influence you to play football, or did you did it at school and you liked it? And
no, when I was born to be a footballer. My dad wanted a footballer. And
you can order them, can you?
Yeah, Dad played for Torrens. He came down. He was a Corn boy.
Oh, right.
He's
Foss Williams a Corn boy too, wasn't he?
Well, he's a cousin to Foss Williams.
Oh, okay.
My dad, and I'm a second cousin.
Oh, there you go.
Don't hold that against me.
No. They're different colours.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, he came down to play. My uncle Neil wanted to come down and try out with Torrens, and that was Neil Head.
Neil Head, was it?
And he came down, and Dad came down with him. Dad was about, I think 26 or something like that when he came down, and Uncle Neil was 3 years younger. And anyway, Uncle Neil played a few games, and Dad played a lot of games, and he must have been a bit of a villain, because he got reported twice in one day in a game.
Did you ever get reported?
I did.
You did?
I don't like to talk about that, but
we'll go to that later, because we're still at school at the moment. You didn't get reported at school.
No.
Perfect student.
I wasn't a perfect student, but anyway, my dad got reported twice. I'll tell that story, and he went up to the tribunal at High Marsh. The High Marsh
Council, is that, was it?
No, at the High Marsh in the city. What's it called? High Marsh Square.
Yeah.
And he went in, and they gave him. Told him what had happened and all that sort of thing, and they gave him 3 matches. And and then they had to hear the second charge, and he said, "Well, I'm not waiting for the second charge. Please yourself." And they gave him 4 for the next one. So
he got 7.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was a bit of my dad's history. But he.
So what sort of what position was he a player?
I think he was an on-ball player.
Ruck rover or something like that.
Yeah, ruck rover, an on-ball player, and.
So he obviously you had a footy when you was a kid and used to kick around.
I had a football. I used to go to bed with a football, and I used to ride a bike bouncing the ball with a football, and
so you did that.
All that. So
when you in those days, because obviously I'm not up with what happened then, but did you have a school footy team or did you play for West Torrens? They wouldn't have had on. They didn't have mini league of that in those days, did they?
I played in the Theberton Primary School football side, and I was picked in the carnival side to go to Western Australia when I was 11. Another great mate of mine who is a Port Adelaide person is Jeff Motley, and he was in the same side. Mm-hmm. And we went to 2 days and 3 nights on the train to Perth, and I was 11-year-old. The case that Mum had me take was bigger than I was, you know. And anyway, we went to Perth, and we played in the carnival, and we came back, and from then on, you know, I was probably in the eye of the West Torrens people, and then I went out to. I ended up, when I left primary school, I went to Thebby Tech, which was alongside of Thebbit Noel, and I spent most of my time on the Thebbit Noel when I was, you know,
practicing. You should have been at school.
I should have been at school, but
so what were you? When you did you have to do a specific course at the tech college, or it was just a certificate? And
well, no,
and then you went out and got a job.
I ended up being an electrical apprentice.
Oh, okay.
When I was 15, when I left school.
So did you go through with all that, Lindsay?
Yeah, I did. I got my indentures, and I never did another. The day that I walked out from getting my certificate,
that was it.
That was it.
You said no.
Because then I started playing for West Torrens when I was 15. I went into the senior Colts at 15. That was under 18s at that time, and I went into the senior Colts and I played in the senior Colts, and of course they played before the league side.
Not like the seconds. Then.
Not like the seconds
Reserve,
are now, and of course. They saw me playing in that grade, and they invited me up to train with the league side.
So who was coach then?
Joe Kinlow.
Oh, yeah.
He was a premiership coach. The 1953 premiership coach. And anyway, I got invited up to train, and then they decided they were going to pick me in the side. And so they came around home and to see Mum and Dad to see whether it was okay to pick me.
So what were you then, 18?
No, 16.
16, okay.
Yeah, 16.
So when they picked you in the side, so you were still going to school, or you were going to the TAFE college?
Yeah.
So when you finished and you got your certificate, you obviously by then, were you 16 or 18? What age were you when you got that? Did you then go and get a job, or you just played football?
No, you couldn't rely on football for an income. I went and after I finished my apprenticeship, I went and worked for John Mahaffey Sports Store. Okay. In the city.
In the city.
Yeah, and
so when later, whenever you got married, when your wife said, I need some electrical work done, you said, I'll ring someone?
Yeah, always ring someone. Never
get me doing it. I'm not doing it. But aren't you a qualified electrician, love? No.
Yeah, no.
Not qualified to do this work.
But I haven't practiced it, and that was a blessing because I wasn't real flash at it anyway. But we.
So just interrupt. So you're with the sports store.
Yep.
How long were you there?
Probably.
So were you the 18 then, were you?
Yeah, till I was about 22.
Okay.
And then we we got an opportunity to go into the hotel business.
So when you say we, so at this stage, were your involvement in the horses started by then?
Bob Shearman came over from Essendon to play with West Torrens.
Yep.
And Bob and I, Ozzie O'Grady was the president of West Torrens, and he instigated Bob and I to learn the hotel game.
Yep.
And so we did it under a guy called Alan Wall from the Maid of Auckland Hotel on South Road. And Bob and I started down there, and we had to go right through the whole business of learning to be a hotel keeper. And anyway, in the end, Bob got the Waverley Hotel on Unley Road, which wasn't a good thing because eventually Sturts came and poached him to go to Unley.
Yeah.
So that and I got the Cross Keys Hotel, and that was.
So how old were you then?
23.
Right. Were you married, single, or what was?
Well, I got married when I was 23. I coached Torrens when I was 23. I played state cricket the year before, and something had to go.
Because you also was going to run a pub.
Yeah, so it either had to be cricket, and it wasn't going to be football, and it wasn't going to be dual. So
you gave the cricket up.
I never played cricket again.
You played for the state, didn't you?
I played Shield cricket the year before.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, never played another game of cricket.
So who did you play? Who were some of the people you played cricket with?
Oh, I played with all the great ones. I played Phil Ridings was our captain, and Norm King, Jack Carr, Peter Trethui.
So who did you play for? Did you
Bruce
play for
Doolan, West Torrens.
Played for West Torrens.
Yeah, everything was West Torrens.
So you went to the pub?
And we went to the pub, and I'd got into the horses by then because.
So how did you get into the horses? People just don't say, I'm going to get a horse or I'm going to get a greyhound or whatever. How did you...
Well, we had a supporter of the West Torrens Footy Club called Reg Robinson. He was a horse, a trotting trainer. And
so that is Rex's father and Anthony's grandfather.
That's it.
Yeah, so he was a very strong supporter of the...
He was a very strong supporter of the West Torrens Footy Club, and he three of us went down, and we used to drive track work at Grange. They had a trotting track at Grange Oval, and we'd go down there and drive track work. Rex was a young man at the time, just learning his trade, and Mick Klingley, Trevor Searle, and myself.
So that's Trevor Searle from Port Augusta. So was he playing footy for West Torrens or something?
Yeah, he played football for West Torrens.
What's his name? Mr. Willis from Port Perry played for West
John
Torrens.
Willis.
Johnny Willis. He was a full forward, wasn't he?
John Willis was our full forward in the premiership side.
Oh, was he? Yeah, he was a big bloke. Yeah, he was a good footballer.
And he was a gentleman too.
And Trevor Searle was a very successful trotting trainer driver in Port Augusta.
Was he?
Trevor Searle, yeah. He went back to Port Augusta, obviously, after.
After yes, he and his father were in trotting.
Yeah. So you sort of, was that just a sort of a hobby, or you thought, we started to drive a bit of track work, so you liked it, and then you got into it a bit more?
What I was looking to do was that when I finished playing footy, I wanted something to do.
A hobby sort of thing.
A hobby. So the hobby turned into more than a hobby. I ended up. Reg said to me, "Do you want to lease a horse?" And I said, "Yeah, that'll be good." So he got me a horse called Mayfield Scott, and Mayfield Scott had won the South Australian and the Victorian Oaks, but the owner had to lease her out, and I was the fortunate one to get her, and she ended up winning around 20 races, and she was a beautiful sit sprint mare, had a wonderful sprint on her, and she ended up running second in the Inter-Dominion at Wavell to Cardigan Bay. You know.
Oh, right. So did you have her then?
Oh, yeah.
And who was... So Robinson was training there?
Rex was training her, and Rex...
the son, Rex Robinson, yeah.
And anyway, we went through Mayfield Scott's career, and when she finished, I bought her.
Oh, right.
And so
It's a good decision.
yeah, it was a good decision, because then the first hole I always was going to go to Aachen with her, and so we went to Aachen, and the first foal that was born was my gal Sal. And
So at this stage, you were, how old? You were in the pub.
Yep.
Were you training the horses from the
Yeah,
stables and that there? In those days that you probably did, didn't you?
Yeah, I had the guy that we bought the pub off was a bloke called Tom Gilbert, and he had the Cross Keys for a lot of years, and he was George Gilbert's father.
Father, all right.
And so we bought when we got the pub, we had the stables behind there, and then after that we ended up getting a property at Waterloo Corner, on Greyhound Road, Waterloo Corner. It was owned by Harold Blunt, the Blunt's Homes, and it had two Blunt's Homes and a bunkhouse on it. Had 12 boxes and day yards and half-acre paddocks and 5-acre paddocks, and had everything in it. Had a 3.5 furlong dolomite trotting track, and so we had everything.
So at this stage, when you were at the pub, and you had Mayfield Scott at the pub, right?
Yeah.
Where were you? Where would you fast work there? Would you go to Days Road, or where?
Yeah, we mostly went to Days Road, and I always said that if I got a horse good enough, I'd have Dick Webster to drive. Drive.
Did you happen to get Dick Webster?
I did. And anyway.
And was that Mayfield Scott?
No. He drove when I went to the pub. I got firstly, Albie Holberton trained Mayfield Scott at the end of her career.
Oh, right.
Because she was getting old and we wanted her to be worked at the beach.
Yep.
So we went down to Albie, and Albie trained Mayfield Scott, and Albie had a brother called Ronnie Holberton, and Ron was a doyen of breaking in young horses, and he broke my gal Sale in for me.
All right.
And he really educated her fantastically. She would do everything that you wanted her to do, and she was brilliant away
on the stands
from a standing start and all that sort of thing. And she was also brilliant away from the mobile. But anyway, Ronnie broke her in, and then we had her at the hotel. But before all that, when she was born, we had Mayfield Scott in a paddock behind the Cross Keys Hotel. We had a couple of acres behind, and she was in foal to Aachen, and my gal, one morning, because we were living at the club for the first 4 years, we had the hotel for 17, and there was a rock thrown onto our roof, and it was one of the Abattoirs boys going past and say you've got a foal.
Oh, right.
So there we are at 3 o'clock in the morning, all out in the bloody paddock, looking at this amazing little foal, So that's how my gal Sale was born.
We'll be taking a break on this section of Mobile Rolling, and we'll be following up with this interview with Lindsay Head in the coming weeks.